As you wish. Chapter 1, The Windy City Traveler with No Room to Live. On the day Nian-Li arrived in Zukan, the weather was hot and humid, and the air was filled with the smell of barbecue and engine oil. Carrying 2 heavy suitcases on her back, she stood at the door of the train station and dialed the phone, her tone anxious. What? Even the hostels are full. This time, she is to participate in the National Original Image Design Competition, and the venue is in the Zukan Science and Technology Museum. Unexpectedly, a week before the game, the accommodation resources in the whole city were hard to find, and no matter how early the online reservation was, it was temporarily cancelled. Just when she wondered if she was going to sleep on the streets, the savior called. If you don't have a place to live, go to my house. On the other end of the phone, it was her college roommate Tang Li, known as Cartier in the world, whose parents were global asset investors, and there were many mansions and villas to be able to play real-life Monopoly. You're home? And your mom and dad aren't there? Nian-Li is suspicious. The whole family went on vacation abroad and just left. My brother's hand is injured, so you can take care of him by the way. Nian-Li's heart is horizontal, deal. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 2, Marijuana with a Plaster Cast. As night fell, she stood in front of the Tang family's suburban villa with her suitcase, and the glass and cement building in front of her looked like a giant spaceship moored at the edge of the city. The moment the door opened, she froze. The tall man wears only a grey short-sleeved shirt with broad shoulders and a narrow waist, and one arm is wrapped in a plaster. His facial features were deep and handsome, but his expression was as cold as a winter night storm, and his tone was even colder. You are the years or something. Happy New Year. She smiled dryly. I'm your brother's friend, I'm here to borrow. Take care of yours by the way. The man glanced at her, turned and entered the room. Didn't my brother make it clear to you? I don't eat coriander, don't eat fatty meat, don't eat ginger, don't eat too sweet, too salty, too spicy, and too oily. I drink freshly ground soy milk for breakfast, 4 dishes and 1 soup for Chinese food, and for dinner. Would you like to send me a PDF directly? She couldn't help but complain. It's best to wake up before 6 o'clock every day and clean the kitchen, balcony, and upstairs study. Nian-Li offered Tang Li and his ancestors incense in his heart, took off his shoes with humiliation, and walked into the seemingly luxurious, but actually hellish life training camp. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 3, The Iceberg is Gradually Thawing. As the days passed, Nian-Li practiced 18 kinds of cooking skills in the high-pressure care mode, from Sichuan to Cantonese style, and even low-fat Western food can be easily obtained. For the picky male protagonist, Tang Yang, yes, that cold-faced handsome guy, she gradually has a coping rule. You don't eat coriander, do you? I used a 9-story tower instead. The fat meat is picked, and the braised pork left is lean, and the oyster mushrooms are added to enhance the flavor. Tang Yang ate, and finally said one day, it's not bad. From that day on, his face was no longer so cold, and he would occasionally even help her hand a soup spoon, and also put her charging cable in order and her favorite peach soda in the refrigerator. Nian-Li wondered if there was a crack in this iceberg. One night, she was busy in the kitchen when she turned her head and crashed into his arms. Be careful. He whispered a reminder, but his hand didn't let go immediately. Nian-Li's face was red, and he hurriedly retreated. I'm going to get the soup. And Tang Wei just lightly hooked the corners of his mouth. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 4, Competition and Separation. On the day of the competition, Nian-Li wore a neatly cut grey and white suit skirt, and his aura was full of aura. Her work time container won the highest number of votes in the audience, and the moment she held the trophy, her eyes sparkled, as if she was truly standing on the top of her dreams. Back at the Tang family's villa, it was late at night. She looked at the familiar sofa, the peach soda on the coffee table, and the remember to eat breakfast that Tang Yang had left in her notebook, and there was an indescribable emotion in her heart. After all, she quietly packed her luggage and dragged her suitcase away at dawn. At the door of the villa, she stood for a while, but finally did not knock on the door. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 5, So You Care About Me Too. Tang Yang woke up and walked downstairs as usual, ready to accept the god-level treatment of 4 dishes and 1 soup, but found that the kitchen was empty, and even the cutlery had been neatly put away. He took out his mobile phone and opened the memo, and the memo bar read, "Peach soda should be prepared at all times. She likes Xiaolong Bao for breakfast, and it is best to soak the mushrooms in advance." Notes pierced into my heart. That day, he waited until the night, only to finally realize that he had long been accustomed to her presence in a casual moment, and even secretly planned how to propose marriage reluctantly. The ring had long been hidden on the top of the wardrobe in his room. But gone. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 6, Meeting Again, A Miracle or Destiny. 3 months later, Tang Li returned to China and had dinner with Tang Yang. New Year's fun? Do you remember that little ancestor? Tang Li crossed the stake and smiled evilly. She is now working as an art director in Xianan Film and Television City. Tang Yang didn't speak, only lowered his head and continued to eat. But that night, he booked a ticket to Xianan. He didn't think about what to say, he just wanted to see how she was doing. In Xianan Film and Television City, a costume court drama is reaching its climax, and Nian Le is sitting in the field area, looking tired. She turned to get some water, but bumped into a familiar figure. Tang Yang. She looked at him in amazement. He took out a small box from his back and opened it, revealing a simple and low-key silver ring. "I didn't like people interfering in my life before, and I didn't want to be kidnapped, but," he said in a low and firm voice, "if it were you, I could think about kidnapping for the rest of my life." Nian Le looked at him in a daze, and after a long time, he laughed. "You're so bad that people like it." Chapter 7, Unfinished Confessions. That night, Nian Le returned from Northern Europe, and the two had dinner together in the familiar Shadow Mansion. It was raining lightly outside the window, and the house was filled with the smell of hot pot. Nian Le's eyes were a little red. Tang Yang thought that the pepper was too strong, and handed her a glass of water. "Do you remember the first time we had a fight?" Tang Yang raised his eyebrows. "Which time? Did you break my VR steering wheel that time, or did you say I had ears that were too big for a grey rabbit? You remember it so well." Nian Le smiled, but instead of answering, he turned a corner. "I dreamed of you many times when I was in Northern Europe. Once I dreamed that you fell off the track, and I couldn't stop crying. When I woke up, I realized that I was really crying." Tang Yang was silent for a moment before holding her hand. "If you come back, I won't fall down. You're my airbag." The two hugged each other tightly. At the end of this quiet night, Nian Le plucked up the courage to hand him a small red box. "I made it myself in Iceland. Necklace. You make me an ornament? It can't be a couple, right?" "No, it's the inspiration for the design of the family crest. The inner ring is convergent, and the outer ring is music. It's only complete after fusion." Tang Yang was stunned for a second, and then kissed her forehead. "You woman, you are too good at flirting." Underscore 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 un. Chapter 8, Her Secrets, His Guesses. But from that week on, Tang Yang vaguely felt that something was wrong with Nian Le. She began to pay more attention to eating healthily than usual, waking up early in the morning to meditate, and even sneaking into obstetrics and gynecology type books. At first, he thought she was planning some new design, but when he got up late one night to drink water, he stumbled upon 2 pregnancy test sticks thrown in the trash. He froze, but didn't say anything. In those days, he began to get nervous, and he was distracted even halfway through the live broadcast. "What's the matter with you, Brother Tang?" his teammate asked him. "It's okay, it's just. Maybe I'm going to upgrade." "Upgrade? Didn't you get promoted to senior coach early?" "No, it's the upgrade of being a dad." A mouthful of water squirted out. Tang Yang cursed and hung up the voice. That night, he boiled a pot of her favorite pot of tomato and beef, and pretended to ask unintentionally. "You've been lately, is there something you haven't told me?" Nian Le raised his head, stared at him for a while, and suddenly smiled. "How did you guess?" Tang Yang's face turned white instantly. "Is there really one?" She blinked. "What's the matter?" "I'm just saying I'm going to the International Designers Summit. You're thinking too much." He almost smashed the table with a spoon, and his head was smoking. But then she added, "However, if you want to be a father, you can't consider it." Underscore 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 un. Chapter 9, The Wrong Decision. However, just when Tang Yang was about to seriously propose marriage, yes, he felt that the simple airport sign he held last time was not counted. It was too hasty. fate played a great joke again. One night, Neon and Zayanan Design Association went to the capital to participate in a cultural exchange banquet. On the way back, a sudden highway accident forced her vehicle to stop on the shoulder of the road, and it rained heavily that night, and the signal was completely cut off. When Tang received the call, it was the driver, Mr. Tang. Miss Neon She wasn't in the car. We searched for half an hour, and the rain was too heavy, and He drove like crazy into the highway, from late night until dawn, along the slippery shoulder of the road in search of the familiar figure. It wasn't until near the dawn of the morning that he found her sitting quietly at the mouth of a culvert, soaking wet, clutching a small paper bag. As soon as she saw him, her whole body collapsed, and she threw herself over and cried until she couldn't breathe. I thought, I'm going to die there. I didn't even have a chance to finish my sentence with you. That night, she spit out a long-suppressed secret. She was pregnant, but she hadn't decided whether to keep the baby because she was afraid of disrupting the rhythm of the two and that he wasn't ready. Tang Yong said with red eyes, "You are my rhythm, you don't need to think about whether I am ready or not, the moment you appear in my life, I am ready." Underscore 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 un. Chapter 10, Under the Stars. 3 months later, Tang Yong took her back to the hillside where she was engaged and rebuilt an open-air theater filled with light and shadow installations she had designed. In the presence of many relatives, friends, and designer friends, he knelt down on one knee and formally proposed. Nian Le, I don't just want to be the goalkeeper of your house and the model of your works, but I also want to be the father of your children and your companion in every difficult period in the future. Marry me, this time we will walk slowly, for the rest of our lives. Nian Le cried and agreed, Tang Yong, I'm ready before you. On the day of the wedding, Tang Yong wore a handmade suit, she wore a wedding dress designed to blend into the shape of his badge, and held a slightly bulging lower abdomen. You know what? She leaned into his ear and whispered, actually, that necklace is not just for fun. It's got a circle, it's the future. Underscore 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 un. Epilogue, an unfinished movement. On the day the child was born, the weather in Zayanan was sunny. When Tang Yong saw the child for the first time, he said excitedly, wow, this kid has a nose like me and ears like you, it won't really be like what you say, it's grey rabbit ears, right? Nian Le laughed until his eyes burst into tears. They named the child Tang He, which means you and I play together, and the music lasts forever.